Hey you, welcome back to class. Are you ready to create something? Let's turn fabric into fashion. Grab your scissors and let's get started. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. So in today's class, we'll be making a corset, top, or blouse, depending on how you call it. I'll be drafting on my brown paper before transferring it to my fabric. So I'll be putting the measurements up above so you could see the measurements we're working with, and we'll be dividing accordingly. The bust is 35, so we'll be dividing by 4. Well, first we start off by marking our shoulder measurement, which is 16 divided by 2, that's 8. Kindly note, I'm dividing the shoulder by 2. I'm marking the armhole depth as 8 as well, so I'm just using the same measurement as the shoulder. Okay, so I'm trying to get a straight line to get the armhole line. So you just want to draw a straight line to exactly what I'm doing. Just observe what I'm doing and follow the steps. It's a really easy tutorial and it's beginner friendly. Okay, so that's our bust point 10, our under bust 13.5, and then our waist is 16. Then we're using the length of our blouse as 24. Okay, so remember the measurement I'm using is maybe different from your measurement and the measurement of your client or yourself as well. So I'm just marking 2 points so I can actually get a straight line. So this is me extending the lines so that we can have the bust point line, the under bust line, and the waistline, just as you can see, and the length of the full top. And the line I just drew now is the shoulder line, so I'm indicating it for you to see. BP means breast point, UB means under bust, and then FL is the full length, and we have the waist in between. So what you need is to grab your cup. Remember my client's bust is 35, so to give her a little bit of fullness, I got a bra cup of 36. So I'm marking ½ inch from the center line. Okay, so please, this ½ inch is very important. It demarcates both busts from each other. So I'm placing it on the under bust line. As you can see the way I placed it, you can choose to slant it if you want to, depending on the style you're working with, but I'm straightening the cup rather, so you can see. Now on the under bust line, I'm placing the edge of the cup to be there. Make sure that it's fitted, it's not moving, it's not shaking. You want it to be in the position that you want the cup to be. It should be standing. Don't let it fall flat. Okay, so you want to create the cup edge line just like I'm doing. Just do that round. Okay, what we're trying to achieve is to cut out the cup from this bodice. Okay, so you just extend this upwards into the armhole line, which is the first line we took for 8 inches. So after doing that, we'll now insert our measurements. Okay, so our bust is 35, so I'm marking 35 divided by 4, then I'm adding 2 inches allowance. As you can see, I'm extending to the armhole line. Then for the waist, we're also dividing by 4 and we're adding 2 inches. That's the under bust rather. Then for the waist, the same thing, divide by 4 and you add 2 inches. Then for the length of the blouse, okay, you can choose to measure your client's blouse hip. That is where you want the blouse to rest, but I'm using a hip -6 to give me that. So we're connecting everywhere. We're connecting the lines. And as you can see, our bodice is coming out. It's coming out really nice. Okay, I'm just using the biro to redraw the point so you can see clearly. So now we have our basic bodice with that. So I'm marking 2.5 inches on the full length, and then I'm going down from the waist, okay, going down from the waist by 2.5, because I want it to give this basset kind of like, yes, this basset kind of like look in the front. Okay, so whatever shape you want your corset to be, at the lower part, you can always, do that, shape it to wherever you want. Be creative and let your style speak for you. Okay, so I'm just taking 4 inches for the dart line. I'm going to cut this line open. Okay, so this is your dart line. I'm going to cut it and then sew it back before I insert the cup. So you want to do this, and if you've gotten to this part, please kindly subscribe, like and share. So I'm just going to go in to the cup by 0.5 inches. So this 0.5 inch is very important. Please note it is very important. You're just going into the cup by 0.5 inch because that's your sewing allowance for the cup. If you do not add this, your cup won't sit well. So you need that 0.5 inch to be your sewing allowance. So you're going to mark it round. You're going to mark it round. So when you're cutting that 0.5 inch. You're not cutting the original cup line that we drew. Okay. And repeat, do not cut the original cup line. You're cutting the 0.5 inches line that we drew. Okay, so I'm just going to cut out the front bodice. This is the front bodice. Okay, because I'm going to need this to cut the back bodice. So you want to cut it out just the way I'm doing. Please follow the way I'm doing. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to place this front bodice on the back bodice so that it will help us to prevent, going back to the beginning of drawing the armhole and the underbust line and the waistline. So you just transfer this directly on a new panel so you can get the line. Okay, so we're using that 10 inches as the length of the top for the back. Okay, and I'm adding 0.5 inch to it for sewing allowance. So please don't forget that the back will be shorter than the front based on the style we're going for. But if you want your front and your back to be the same, you can still just place the front panel on the back panel and cut. So we're placing the front panel on the back panel now. Remember, we reduced the length of the back, so the back is not as long as the front. Now I'm just going to go ahead and cut it so that you can see how it's going to be. So for the back panel, you don't need zip allowance because it's going to be corset, so you'll be cutting this out. So you don't really need to add any allowance to the back panel. That's your zip side, right? Your zip section. You don't need to do that. That's why I just cut it exactly the same as the back, because I'll still reduce it by 2 inches. Now placing it, now you're seeing how it looks. So you see what I was trying to tell you, that I reduced the back to be the same length with the shorter part of the front and not the longer part of the front. Okay, so I'm just marking the waistline, the underbust line and the bustier line. So after doing this, you want to cut this out. Please, you can pin your patterns together, so that they don't shake. You can pin them together. So now I'm just cutting this out. Remember I told you that when you're cutting out the front cup side, you cut the 0.5 inches. Okay, so you're leaving 0.5 inches in the cup area for your joining allowance. Please and please do not forget that. And then I'll proceed to cutting out the shape that I want in the front. Then I'll also go ahead and divide the front panel into two. So like I said, you'll be joining these parts together. Okay, you'll be joining that parts together. So that's our front panel. And remember when I was cutting the front, I just trimmed it together with the back, is so that your back and your front would be equal when you are joining the sides. Okay, so you just want to extend the lines, extend the line downwards. So make sure that your back panel is a little deeper, like slopey, unlike your front panel. Okay, so that it doesn't bulge and it can sit well at the back of your client. So I'm taking this to mark the same dart line that I took. So you just do the same thing and you slit it. Okay, so you can use like your marker or pen to indicate, because by the time you are done cutting some sides will be looking like the right sides even though they are the wrong sides. Okay, so that's why I just indicated with that arrow that that's the part I'm to join together and not the other side. So I'm taking out the 2 inches like I mentioned earlier. That's where our corset is going to sit, and that's why it's corset. Okay, so you're taking 2 inches out, and that's my dart line, and we're cutting it out as well. So now that we have this, all that is left is to transfer to our fabric. Now I'm indicating the parts. Okay, so that's my center back and my side back, and I'm notching as well the edges. It's so that you will not forget where it's your under bust line, your bust line, and your waist, so that when you're taking your measurements will fit in accurately. Okay, please do not forget to notch. Notching is important. So you could also notch as well to indicate where to join together, if you do not want to use the arrow drawing method. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and still notch the front panel as well. So I'm notching the under bust line, the waistline, and the bustier line, that's the breastpoint line. Okay, now that we have this is the full panel. Okay, very, very easy. If you've come this far, congratulations, I'm proud of you, and don't forget to subscribe as well. So I'm still labeling the front panel, so that's our center front, and then that's our side front. Okay, so you need to label. Please label, it actually helps you. Now we're just going to transfer to our main fabric, and for the fabric I'll be using a crepe fabric. So this is a peach crepe fabric, and you can use any fabric of your choice, depending on what you're working on and what you're trying to achieve. You could use a Duchess satin, you could use an Ankara, so you could use any fabric of your choice. So I'm just going to pin the patterns on the fabric. You see, easy. So please ensure that the center front and your center line is together, and kindly note, I folded the fabric, so the fabric is on fold. It's not single like the pattern. Okay, the fabric is on fold. So I'm placing the pattern on the fabric, both the front and the back patterns as well. So you just want to go ahead and cut. So as regarding the video of the covering of the cup, I will attach a link to a video I already have on my page of a corset cup that I covered. So you can just do that with it and let me know how it turns out. So just as it is, every other thing is easy peasy. You just want to join each sides by 1/2 inch. So that's it for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and sew with love. Till next time, bye.